just a few things I want to say about the LEDs before we get too deep into the code or how much power they use. There's a couple different things we're going to go through. But one of the quick things is there's 256 different colors you can get for each LED, and there's 3 LEDs in each package. And so there's RGB, and with each red, green, and blue combination, you get any color you want. And when I say any color you want, I mean 1, 6, 7, 7, 2, 16 different colors, total combination. So just keep that in mind, that you can pretty much get any color you want. You might have to calibrate it, and there's calibration routines. We're going to use a library, and we'll go into the quick setup of the code. It's not a lot of code, like you can pretty much plug and play. But just a couple things, we're going to look at how much power these things use, because these LED strips, they're all cascaded together on the same power bus. And you can have like virtually an infinite amount of LEDs. But if you have too many, then you might have to have separate power supplies for, break it up in like different sections. And depending on how bright you decide to turn these on will depend on how many power supplies or how much power you'll need total. So as you can see, cascade method D1, D2, D3, D4. Each one of these is one of the pixels, the NeoPixels, and each pixel has a red, green, blue LED in it, and that you are controlling. Well, basically all this works is D1, you pass data into it, and then it passes data from there into the next one. And I'm not going to go into, in the next video or later videos, maybe we'll talk about like actually how they work more in depth. But just this is how they're wired together. You've got a 5-volt ground on each one, and then you have D in, and then you have D out. So D out goes into the next D in, and then D in goes to the other next D out. And I'll just chain together like this, and you can then control them. So now we'll get into code. So the first thing you do is, if you're going to use the Arduino environment to program these, which is quickly, easy way to get going with these LEDs, go to the library, look for Fast LED, and then I installed the Fast LED 3.6.0. And if you want to read more about it, you can click here, and I will put a link in the description below. But there's a lot of different use case and also how to get started. So like one of them is, if you want to control it, there's the code of, this is how to set each color, the red, the green, the blue. And then also there's a matrix of this library and what LEDs it supports, because the WS28 are not just the only ones it supports. So we're going to go and actually look at, we're going to program it. So I'm going to program it with this simple blink sketch. So I've got it hooked up right now to my Arduino Nano. We'll show you, we'll skip over to there in a second, but we're going to program it. All right, let's look at the power levels. All right, so here's what we have right now. I ended up changing the code so it turned on all 10 LEDs. I don't have the rest of the LEDs on. And I did that because I wanted to get a more accurate current measurement. So right now I'm drawing about 0.387, so 380 milliamps. But it also, this thing draws about 10 milliamps doing nothing. So I'm estimating roughly 37 milliamps per pin. So 37, so if you have too many on, like I said, so calculate what you're powering this thing with, find out how much that thing can put out, and then how many LEDs you have. So just to get an idea, it's going to be, a safe guess about 40 milliamps per LED. And I just don't want, something to get blown up and you to be sad because you blew up either your power supply or your Arduino. So I say, no more buying Christmas lights that burn out every year. Why don't we put these up, and let's figure out some ways, if you guys have some ideas on the best way to mount these. Now, there is sticky glue on the back of these. If you flip them over, there is sticky stuff, but the sticky stuff doesn't stay sticky long enough, in my opinion. So I don't like that. I'd like to figure out some other ways to mount these and then put them on the outside. So, you can get any color you want. You could move these, have them move around or animated to kind of get a better idea. If you put like paper across it, you can kind of see the different. It's hard to see the exact color, but it's quite pretty from